With the Yes Foods on the plan, what we're doing is focusing on foods that don't further the growth of Candida in the body. So the meats, the vegetables, the fruits, when done in conjunction with the rest of the outline of the body, work to give the body the fuel, the nutrients that it needs, and it avoids providing the body with, or providing the fungus with the nutrients that it needs or craves the most. Another important part of our food plan is that these are natural whole foods. And a natural whole food diet has been found to be the best for Americans. We find that most people who do the McCombs Plan consume more than the recommended daily amounts of fruits and vegetables. And there have been a lot of different studies that demonstrate how this reduces your risk of diseases and other conditions that go with a poor diet. Another reason why you see the foods that we list there, if they're foods that don't feed Candida, or they're foods that really aren't mucus forming. If you take foods into the body that are mucus forming, that mucus will form a layer over the Candida, which makes it almost impossible to get rid of. Candida is an organism which creates its own layer of mucus in many instances, which is called a biofilm. And that film, then with mucus on top of it, makes it almost impossible to get rid of the Candida, or prolongs the time with which you're going to need to follow a diet and take supplements, and that may mean it prolongs it indefinitely. From my experience in seeing people do other plans, because the plans are ineffective, they always have to be on a Candida diet. So the Yes Foods are something that you follow for the first 8 weeks of the plan. Starting with the 9th week, we start reintroducing foods every 2 weeks. So the first foods to come back are going to be soy sauce, vinegar, nuts, legumes, juices, popcorn. A couple weeks later, we bring back the grains. 2 weeks after that, we bring back yeast, which will be your breads and crackers and cookies and pasta, as long as there's no sugar, because sugar doesn't come back till week 15. And then at the end of the diet is when you can reintroduce dairy. And that also means anything that looks like, smells like, or tastes like dairy. So anything that looks like, smells like, tastes like dairy will cause the same reaction in the body that dairy would produce. As we reintroduce the foods back into the diet, we actually get to see which foods work for us and which foods don't work for us. So if you start to eat something and feel tired, sleepy, achy, mucousy, it causes gas or bloating, you've just discovered which foods probably don't work well for your body. And again, we're reintroducing different food groups every 2 weeks. So as you do that, you need to pay attention to what works for you and what doesn't work for you. When many people do the plans, they really come to this, they reawaken their body's feedback mechanism so that they know what's working for them. And in many instances, they're just not attracted to foods that they were attracted to before. We've had people who have had a glass of wine for 35 years with their dinner, and halfway through the diet, they realize they never want to have a glass of wine ever again. And what's happened is their feedback mechanism has become awakened within their body. So they have that feedback that now they can, and I think it's always been there, but they haven't been able to listen to it because they've just been so congested and bloated, and that feedback mechanism hasn't been registering. But when you detoxify the body and clean it up, you get these clear messages from your body, what works for you and what doesn't. In many instances, they're not even attracted to something. So it's not that they have to even go eat it. They just know right away, I don't want to have that again. And that's one of the amazing things that we see with the diet. It's McCombs Plan for health, vitality, and transformation. And it's really a transformative process because the body undergoes this transformation. So people find what works for them much better than what was previously happening. So we have the components of physical transformation where people may experience weight loss and see their conditions go away. We have what we've oftentimes seen as the emotional transformation, where people are able to think clearly and make decisions, and they feel more balanced in their life. And you have this other kind of emotional mental component where you can also, as I mentioned, think clearly and decide what you want to do with your life. So all these components of transformation we've seen take place in the diet, which is why we call it health, vitality, and transformation.